Hi all, good noon. So welcome to the demo session of AZ700, where actually we are going to discuss about the topics, the labs, which we are going to configure in real time during our classes. All right, before that, let me just give you a brief introduction about myself. So my name is Sandeep, and I am holding around 9 years of experience in IT. And right now I'm working as a senior technical lead, where actually I used to take care of cloud operations as well as the security operations in my current organization. Right? So this is just a small introduction. Rest I will let you know during the lectures. Okay. Now, in order to start with AZ700, we should be aware of the basic concepts of Azure. That what is Azure? What are all types of services offered by the Azure, Microsoft Azure? Because see, in order to start with the lab, we should be aware of the basic concepts. The basic concept should be there, then only you will be able to understand the advanced things, because obviously 700 is an advanced topic. So I would recommend, or even I am preferring that you guys should go through with the AZ900 or AZ104 curriculum, so that it would be easy for you to understand AZ700. But still, if let's say you're not aware of these things, I will try to cover in such a way that you will be able to understand it. Right? So let me just share my screen and let's talk about the topic that we will be covering in AZ700. Right? It is totally going to be based on the topics prescribed by the Microsoft. Right? So we are going to follow the Microsoft documentation itself, and then from there only we are going to take the reference of the topics from the Microsoft itself, and then we are going to cover the labs. Right? Now the first topic you can see, introduction to Azure Virtual Networking. We will do a small lab also, guys. Right? Because they see it is just a demo session, but as I mentioned, once you will start our classes, you will be able to understand the things in depth, that how these things are working in real time. And the topics which we are going to cover, it is totally going to be based on the real time scenarios. Real time scenarios, right? That the experience which I have gained so far in my previous roles or in my current role. So based on that only, I'm going to teach 700. Because you should be aware of the real time exposure, right? That how the companies are implementing all those things in real time. Okay. And after completing this thing, I'm going to help you out with the interview questions. I'm going to help you out with all the documentation related to 700, the study material basically, the PPTs, and I will help you out with the help of I will help you out with resume creation also. That what and all tips and tricks you can use in order to get shortlisted. Because see, nowadays CV shortlisting is also a big deal, right? Your CV is not getting shortlisted. So what and all tricks and tips you can follow to get shortlisted in any of the organization? Interview is second thing, right? But the major thing is getting shortlisted, right? So what things you can use, what steps you can use, so that also I will let you know during the lectures. Right? Now, introduction to virtual networking. So hopefully you are all aware of that how the computers are communicating with each other. If let's say I have two computers and they want to talk in the sense I want to send some file from one computer to second computer. How I will be able to send it? That is only with the help of network. Network communication should be there, then only the two computers will be able to talk to each other. So same way, if I'm talking about cloud, So in cloud also, I have to make sure that the machines, the services should be in the running state and they are able to communicate. So how they will be able to communicate? With the help of virtual network. I'm going to connect that virtual machine to a virtual network. Then only it will make sure the IP will be assigned from your virtual network to the machine. And then it will be able to talk to your other virtual machines, other servers basically. Okay. So how to make this virtual network? So in Azure, whatever the services you want to configure, let me just show you the Azure portal, how the portal looks like. So go to portal.azure.com. Just type portal.azure.com. Guys, just a second. Just give me a moment. Uh, all right. I'm resharing my screen. Yes. So this is the portal, guys. Okay. If I need to configure any of the service like virtual machine, virtual network, okay, or application gateway, or these services also you can see resource group, app services, function app, SQL database, virtual network, Microsoft Enter ID, monitor, advise. So these are basically services which are offered by the Microsoft, but we have to understand if we want to configure any of the service, in that case, we will be needing a resource group. This is very basic thing, guys. Okay. That whenever you are going to work with Azure and whenever you want to configure any of the service in Azure, we have to configure resource group first, because inside that resource group only you will be able to add that service. Right? Now let's understand it with the help of diagram. So guys, we are going to use this approach. We will understand the concept with the help of diagram first, and then only we will move to our lab. Then only we are going to implement the practical. Because with the help of diagram, it is very easy for us to understand the concept. So you should focus on the concept, right? Rather than doing the lab. Lab is not a big deal. Lab you will be able to configure after watching the video. But whenever you are going for the interviewer is going to check the concept, whether your basic concepts are clear or not. Right? So we should focus on the concept, and then we are going to perform the labs. So now, resource group, we have to configure. Oh, sorry, spelling mistake. Resource group we are going to make. So this is going to be the resource group. And inside this resource group, you are going to add your services. Services can be anything. VPN, firewall, virtual network, virtual machine scale set, application gateway, load balancers, traffic manager. So these are the services that I'm pointing, but obviously there are lots of services available in Azure, right? So you have to understand, if you want to configure these services, you will be needing one resource group. Now, whenever you are going to create a resource group is going to be inside a region. Region means location, that where you want to create this resource group. In India, US, Australia, Canada, like that you can define. If any of the client is from Canada, then obviously you are going to create their resource group in Canada itself. If someone is from India, then they are going to create their resource group in India itself. Right? So in order to create a resource group, whenever you're going to give the name, for example, I'm going to give the name to this resource group as resource group RG1. Yeah, test RG1. Then it is going to ask you for the location the region where you want to configure it. For example, I'm going with Central India. Central India. Okay. So after creating this resource group, you can add your services inside it. Means you can add your virtual machine. You can create your virtual machine inside this resource group. As many as whatever the requirement is, based on that, you can configure your virtual machine inside this resource group. Same way, if I need to create a VNet, we are talking about virtual network here, right? If I want to configure the virtual network, that VNet is also going to be there inside the resource group. Right? But obviously, whenever you're going to configure the VNet, it is also going to ask you for that in which resource group you want to configure it, right? Which IP range you want to take. So everything you have to define, the name you have to define of your virtual network during the creation. So you can either go with class A IP, class B IP, class C IP. So you can go with any of the range. For example, I'm taking the range, the VNet range that starts from 192.168.0.0. This is going to be the network range. Acha, /16. That CIDR value also should be there. /16. Right. So after creating this VNet, we have to add subnets. We have to break this big network into small network. So what is subnetting? What is subnetting? Breaking a network into small networks is called subnetting. Right? So this is a big network, and then I can create the subnet like 192.168 1.0/24. Like that, I can create multiple subnets of this virtual network. I can create one more. Let's say this subnet starts from 192.168.2.0/24. So this is going to be the IP series for my second subnet. From this subnet only, from these subnets only, the IP will be distributed to your client machines. Hopefully you heard about DHCP. So DHCP, what is the job of DHCP server? So DHCP server is going to distribute the IP to your client machine. So same way, whenever a machine is going to be inside the subnet, subnet will automatically assign the IP, the available IP from automatically assign the IP to the virtual machine from the subnet. Automatically it will be assigned. So there are two ways of assignment. Either it can be assigned manually or it can be assigned dynamically. Dynamically means automatically it is getting assigned. But let's say I want to assign a static IP. I want to assign, for example, 2.50 to this virtual machine. Then obviously we can't wait for the dynamic IP, right? What you can do, you can go to this virtual machine and you can assign a static IP also from this subnet to this virtual machine. 2.50. So this is static. But if let's say I am assigning IPs automatically, then in that case, the IP which is going to assigned to this virtual machine is going to be 192.168.2.4. The first available IP is going to be 2.4. Now, why 2.4? Why not 2.1, 2.2, 2.3? Because whenever you are going to add a subnet, from that subnet, five IPs, five IPs will be reserved by the Microsoft. First 4 IP and last 255. Okay, let me write it down. If I'm talking about this subnet, then what are going to be the reserved IP? 192.168.2.0, 192.168.2.1, 192.168.2.2, 192.168.2.3, and the last would be 192.168.2.255 is going to be the IP which will be reserved by the Microsoft automatically from this subnet. Okay, so every time whenever there would be any subnet, the the 5 IPs will be reserved by the Microsoft whenever there will be a new subnet inside your virtual network. Do remember this thing. It can be interview question also, that why these IPs are reserved. Now, why? What is the job of these IPs? See, 2.0 is for network ID. 2.1 is for gateway. 2.2 and 2.3 is for future use. That if let's say Microsoft is going to launch some new service which needs a reserved IP. So from this reserve IP, the new IP, from this reserve IP, the IP would be assigned to that particular new service. Same 2.3 and 2.255 is the broadcast IP. Okay, 2.2 and 2.3 is for future use. 0 network ID, 1 gateway, and rest are for your future use. And the last one, 255, is your broadcast IP. Okay. Now, if I'll ask you one question, if let's say I have this virtual machine and I am connecting this virtual machine from this subnet, from 1.0 subnet, what is going to be the IP assigned to this virtual machine? What would be the IP for this VM? Any idea? I have already explained this thing. Now just need to see whether you understood it or not. So let me know, guys. So what would be the IP which is going to be assigned to this virtual machine? Any idea? Correct. 1.4. So 1.4 is going to be the IP for this VM. 192.168.1.4. This would be the IP for this virtual machine. Even I'll show you practically also. As I told, we are going to perform a small lab today. It is just to show you that how we are going to work and how we are going to learn this whole module. Rest, I'll be explaining all the things from very scratch once we will start our classes. Any doubt, any question till now? You want any clarity? Am I clear to everyone till now? Okay. So this is what. So now, as I mentioned, in order to create a virtual network, I have to define a resource group first of all. I need to create a resource group first of all. So let's create a resource group inside a portal. So guys, see, might be you are new to Azure, right? So in that case, we have to get the portal access so that we will be able to perform the lab. Because obviously, you have to do the practicals. After understanding the concept, you have to do your practicals. So to perform the practical, you will be needing the portal access, the Azure portal access. Now to get this access, you will be needing one credit card or one Microsoft account or one contact number, right? And in Azure, there are subscriptions. Subscriptions you have to create. First of all, you should have one subscription. Subscription. Yeah. And in Azure, there are multiple types of subscription. Like first one is your pay as you go. Means as soon as you will start utilizing the services of Azure, from that time itself, Microsoft will start charging you. So these are the subscriptions actually which companies are working on. Companies used to have their pay as you go subscription on Azure portal. And every month we are going to get the invoice from the Microsoft with the detailed report that what and all services you have used previous month. You will get the hours also, that how many hours you ran that service. Let's say you have 10 virtual machine, 10 virtual machines were running for last or basically for 30 hours, for example. So for 30 hours only you have to pay the amount to Microsoft. That is the beauty of cloud actually, right? That as soon as you will start utilizing the service, then only you have to pay to the Microsoft. If you are going to stop it or if you are going to delete it, then Microsoft will not charge anything, will not charge any single penny from you, right? So first subscription is pay as you go, and the second you can go with free trial. In this case, to utilize all the services of Azure, you will get $200 for free trial. You will get $200 for 1 month. $200 for 1 month. These $200 can be utilized in order to run your services on Azure. So, and I believe the $200 are more than enough to complete all the topics of our lab. So no need to worry about. So $200 is more than enough. But for this free trial, as I mentioned, there are some prerequisites. You should have one credit card. One person can only use his one credit card. If let's say you have five, you can't use all of them. You can only use one credit card of yours. So do remember this thing. Okay, one person can only use his one credit card. If let's say you have already consumed your credit card, in that case, either you have to take it from your family members or you have to take the credit card from your friends so that you can create the services. You can get the free trial. account for Azure. So do remember this thing. You can use only one credit card, right? And then you will be needing one Microsoft account, MS account, and then one unique contact number. Contact number also should be unique. If let's say you have already used your contact number and you got the free trial, but now you want to create one more free trial account with your for example with your parents credit card, you will not be able to use your contact number in that case, because if you are going to use the same contact number which you have already used, in that case you are not going to get the free trial access. You will not get $200. So contact numbers also should be unique. You can use one more subscription type that is called student subscription. In this case, you will be getting $100 for 1 month. For 1 month, you are going to get $100. But in this case, you will not be needing credit card. Credit card is not needed at all. The requirement would be you should have your university email ID, university email account you should have. Then only you will be able to opt the student subscription. Okay, so these are the three types of subscription. So I am already being a trainer, guys. I am already using pay as you go, right? For my previous batches also, I used to work pay as you go only. If let's say you are going with the pay as you go, use your account efficiently. Means whenever you are done with the lab, whenever you are able to understand the concept, you are able to understand the topic, and the lab is also configured for the same, delete everything. No need to keep it, because obviously you understood the concept. Then why to keep the services in the running state? Either no need to stop it. If I'm talking about virtual machine, right, no need to stop that virtual machine, just directly delete the resource group. This is just for our lab, guys, not in real time, right? In real time, obviously company is going to pay, the client is already client is going to pay. You need not to worry about. Okay, so these are three types of subscription. So don't worry, I will let you know how you can get the free trial, how you can create the free trial account. So in the next class, I will let you know that how using your credit card you can get $200 for 1 month, so that you will be able to configure the services in Azure. Okay, I already have pay as you go. Let me show you. See, subscriptions. See, guys, last time it was not showing, right? In overview, it was blank. So this is what I was looking for in my last class. If you have joined my previous class, right? So we were not having this option, but now it got refreshed. As I told you, might be there is some issue with my network. That is why it is taking time to load. But now you can see this is what I was looking for last time. Now you can see, guys, my last build amount, it is 1,276. Being a trainer, I'm taking multiple batches: 104 batch, 500 batch, 700 batch, 900 batch. But as far as my class is done and I'm able to configure the lab without any error, I used to delete everything. I used to delete the resource group. Because obviously, as I mentioned in the diagram, whatever the services you are going to configure in Azure, it is going to be inside the resource group. So it is good to delete the resource group rather than deleting a particular service. So do remember this thing. Then if you are going to stop it after the usage, everything is done. So the amount would be very low. So this was my last month amount invoice, which I have paid to Microsoft. And I took around 3 different classes with this Azure portal. Okay, so just a recommendation, once you are done with everything, once you are able to understand the concept, once your lab is working fine, delete everything if unnecessarily you don't want to be charged from the Microsoft. Free trial free trial is fine, because as I mentioned, $200 you will get. 200 means around 16,000 or 17,000 rupees you will get from the Microsoft for 1 month, and that amount you can use in order to configure the lab. So you can go this way, so that it is going to help you out, and you will not be unnecessarily charged from the Microsoft, charged by the Microsoft. Okay, so this is the very basic thing, guys, because in order to start with the things, we should be aware of the console first of all, the Azure portal first of all. So that is why I'm covering it from very scratch. Now we want to configure a virtual network, VNet. To configure the virtual network, either you can search here. I think I have already configured the virtual network. That is why it is showing in my Azure services. But if let's say your service is not listed here, then you can search here also, and you will be able to get virtual network. So I will select virtual network and then create. And it is asking for the resource group. Why resource group is not showing? Let me just refresh it. Did we create the resource group? No, I think we have not created it yet. Okay, let's create the resource group. Central India is fine. Resource group name test -rg. ठीक है? Go next, review and create. Let me just refresh. All right, then let's go to home. And we want to create a virtual network. You can see virtual network here itself, but let's say you are not able to see here, then in that case you can search by typing VNet, and you will be able to get virtual network. Select it and then create. Select your resource group and give the name to your virtual network. For example, I am giving the name as India-VNet. You can name it whatever you want as per the requirement. Okay, and I'm configuring it in the central region, central India. Then go next. So these are virtual network encryption, bastion service, firewall. Don't worry, we are going to discuss it from in depth also, and we will I will try to explain it from very scratch. Okay, so just ignore it for now. Go next, and this is the subnet. This is the network value, guys. VNet value, that is 10.0.0/16. But if you want to change it, you can change it as well. Let's say you want to go with a class B network, 172.16.0.0/16. Right? As I mentioned in the diagram, that whenever you are going to create a VNet, right? Whenever you're going to create a VNet, you have to create a subnet also, right? So this is the default subnet. Whenever you are going to create a virtual network, one default subnet is going to be configured automatically. But if you want to rename it, you can do that. Let me just go to edit. You can see this pencil button and then name it whatever you want. For example, I'm giving the name as subnet hyphen one and then save and then review and create. Acha, if you want to add one more, just select add a subnet. Automatically, it would be 1.0. You can see 172.16.1.0. And the name I'm giving as subnet hyphen 2. Then fine, just add. Okay, so I get two more subnets. If let's say you want to configure 15 subnets, that is also fine. You can do that. Just review and create. All right, deployment okay is in progress. Let's wait for it. Because once we have our virtual network, then only we will be able to add the virtual machine. So virtual network is mandatory for the virtual machine, or even for firewall, or even for application gateway. Okay. Now let's go back home and let's create one virtual machine. Select your resource group, virtual machine name, demo-vm, availability zone no, standard. And let's go with Windows Server. Let's configure Windows Server 2025. Okay. Now this is going to be the compute power, guys. Obviously, if you want to run any of the virtual machine, you will be needing CPU, you will be needing RAM, you will be needing hard disk. Same way, in order to run your laptop, you need CPU, right? You need RAM inside it. You need hard disk should be inside it. Because in the hard disk itself, your operating system is going to be installed. All right. So one virtual CPU, 3.5 gig of memory, and then the username. Obviously, I want to take the system on remote. So in order to take this system onto remote, I have to define the username by which I will be able to connect this machine. So just define the username as whatever you want and the password. Port number you have to allow 3389 because RDP, Windows works on RDP. Linux works on SSH port 22. So in order to take the system on remote, we have to enable the RDP service that is 3389. So this open port, we have to open it. Every service has their own ports like port 80 for HTTP, port 443 for HTTPS, port 21 for FTP, file transfer protocol, port 8530 for Windows deployment services, port 1433 database connectivity. Okay, so RDP I will enable. And if let's say in future I'm going to host a web server inside it, then I have to enable port 80 also or port 443 also. Chalo, along with this, let's perform a lab also, guys. Let's perform a lab of web server also. Okay. So I'm selecting port, I'm allowing port 80 and port 443, sorry, port 3389. 443, guys, for now we can't enable because see, we can enable it, but without certificate, we will not be able to proceed. Okay. So that is why I'm going with port 80. So there should be a secured certificate that should be assigned with my website. Then only I can go with port 443. Okay, but for now I'm going with plain text that is port 80. Now go next. That is fine. Go next. Go next. And then db and create. Create. Oh, I missed one thing, guys. In which subnet we added this virtual machine? Let me just go back and let me test it. I think automatically it got deployed in India VNet, and I think in subnet 1 it got deployed, but let's test it. So guys, whenever we are going to trigger any of the deployment in Azure, it used to take time, right? So okay, let's check what is the IP for this VM. Even here also we can check rather than going. Okay, you can see 172.16.0.4, which means subnet 1. The IP got distributed from the subnet 1. Acha, at subnet level also you can check that what and all IPs are distributed by that particular subnet. How? Let's go to the virtual network, select your India VNet, and you can see connected devices. All right, select connected devices, and then you can see, guys, demo VM 172.16.0.4 IP is distributed from subnet 1. Like this also you can trigger, you can check that what is the IP for that particular VM. Okay, so this is how IPs would be assigned to your virtual machine. So for now, the IP distributed through your DHCP automatically, means dynamically IP is assigned to this VM. But if you want to change the IP, you want to define a static IP for your virtual machine, you can't do it at the server level. You have to do it at the VM level, as at the Azure level. So go to virtual machine, select that particular VM, go to the network settings. You can see the network interface card. This is the NIC. Select this NIC card. Go to IP config. See, you can see it is a dynamic IP, right? So select IP config 1. And then you can see dynamic. For now, dynamic IP is assigned. But let's say I want to assign a static IP. So I will just select static, and then whatever IP I want to assign to this VM, I can do that. Okay, 172.16.0.10, and then save it. Now it is updating your server with the new IP. And you can see 0.10 is the static IP for this VM. Guys, these can be our day routine task also whenever you are going to work as a cloud operations engineer or network operation engineer, cloud network operation engineer. So these are going to be very basic tasks that we have to perform in the company. All right. So this is IP distribution. Now, I told you that I am going to configure this server as a web server. I want to host a website inside this virtual machine. So let's connect this virtual machine. How we can connect? Using RDP. So just copy its public IP. This is the public IP of this VM. Guys, for now, we are connecting it through the public IP. But in real time, you are not going to connect it using public IP. In that case, you will be having VPN service. You will be having Bastion service. You will be having firewall rules. So we are going to discuss those things also. Okay. So just copy this public IP and in the search type MSTSC and give the username. What happened? Is it not in the running state? Demo-VM stopped. Who stopped it? Let me restart it again. Okay, meanwhile it is getting done. Let's talk about the topic that we are going to cover in this whole module. Okay. So today we just talked about configure public IP. We configured public IP, we configured virtual network, right? But in future, we are going to talk about DNS, name resolution, and domain name servers setting in Azure, then cross virtual network connectivity with peering, then connect to Azure virtual network using global virtual network peering, and then traffic routing, network traffic routing, and then internet access with virtual network NAT, network address translation. Okay, this would be our module 1. The second module would be related to VPN. We'll talk about virtual private network gateway. We'll talk about site-to-site VPN. We'll talk about point-to-site VPN. We'll talk about WANs, wide area network. Okay, we will talk about network virtual appliance, NVA. Okay, then we have the other module, which is for your express routing, express route gateway. What is express circuit? How the express route can be deployed. So all these things we will be covering in this module. Then we have load balancers, public load balancer, private load balancer, Azure traffic manager, right? So all these things we will cover in this module. And then we have application gateway, path-based routing, front door. So these things we will cover in this module. So guys, whatever the topic we are discussing, these are totally based on the practicals. 95% it is the practical based topics. Wherever the theory is needed, I'll be giving you the theory as well. As I mentioned, I will provide you the documentation, the PPTs, the study material, everything would be there. Okay. Then you have network security, firewall, web application firewall, DDoS protection, defender. Okay. So all these things we will discuss in this topic, in this module. And then we have private access like Bastion service, endpoint, private endpoint, virtual network service endpoint. So this would be there in our design and implement private access to Azure services. And the last is going to be, guys, design and implement network monitoring. How you are going to monitor your network, how you are going to monitor your network packet uh, transferring, packet filtering, everything would be there in this last module. So it is the topics which are recommended by the Microsoft in order to get the Azure 700 certification. So you can write the exam also, guys. If you want to get the global certification from Microsoft, you can write the exam. So there would be around 57 questions. That is going to be optional questions, right? And out of 1,000, you have to secure 700 marks in order to get the global certificate. So I will even help you out how you can crack the exam. So don't worry about it. Okay, so these are the topics that we are going to discuss. If you want, I can give you this link also in your chat. You can go through with it. And in the next session, we are going to start it from first module. Okay, now just let's go back to our server. Is it started now or still? Why it is in the updating mode? What's wrong with it? So sometime, guys, you can experience slowness also in with the Azure portal. So no need to worry about. After some time, everything will be fine. Okay. We have to wait that it should be in the running state. Then only we can take the system on remote and we can install the features inside it if we want to make the server as a web server. But no, no, what happened to it? Why it is in updating state? Might be there would be some outage in the data center of Azure. That also can be the possible issue. Nay, Lokesh, if it is already updated, so static IP doesn't matter, right? So if I'll go to this VM, so let me show you in the network settings, IP is already updated. IP is not going to make any impact. See, 0.10. It is already updated. It is already updated, right? So there is some issue with the VM only, which I believe. Let me try to refresh, or else I will show you this web server lab on any other machine. Okay, let me try to refresh it. No, still it is in the updating state. What happened to it? See, even this is also taking time. So anyways, let me show you this lab onto any other VM, or let's create one more virtual machine. Let's do it, guys. Azure VM, select it, resource group, test RG, VM-1, Central India is fine, availability zone, no, I will explain these things, guys, but and all these things are okay. No need to worry. And Windows Server 2025, one virtual CPU, 3.5 gig of RAM, that is fine. Then the username, password, 3389, next disk, next networking. Okay, you can see India VNet, and then you can see inside subnet 1. If let's say you want to deploy it into subnet 2, that is also fine. So if you are going to deploy it into subnet 2, the IP would be 1.4, which is going to assign to this virtual machine. Okay, now everything is fine, just review and create. Acha, we need to do one more thing. If we want to make this server as a web server, we have to make sure that we should enable port 80 also. Okay, or port 443 also. For 443, we can't enable it for now because if you need to enable port 443, we need to get one certificate. Then only the connection is going to be secured. But as of now, I don't have any certificate, so I'm just going with port 80. Now just review and create again. Right? And then create. Okay, now let's go to resource. Let's copy VM's IP, public IP. Guys, as I mentioned, in real time, you are not going to assign the public IP to your virtual machines. It would be private only. But if let's say you're assigning the private IP to your VM, then how you will be able to take it on remote? In that case, there are multiple services that can be configured. Again, Bastion service, uh, VPN service, or you can configure the firewall rules. Okay, let's do MSTSC, paste public IP, connect. Yeah, now it is getting connected. Let's give the username and then the password. So VM1, then yes. Okay, it is loading for us. See, actually, we have defined a very low compute power for this virtual machine. One virtual CPU and 3.5 gig of memory. Obviously, these are very, it is very low compute power. So if you're going to define a very high compute power, in that case, the running would be, the running speed would be high. Okay, it is not going to make any issue. So we are connected to our virtual machine, except, and this would be your server, guys. This is your new server, which is server 2025, which mostly looks like Windows 11. Okay. So hopefully you are you gone through with the networking. If you want to just see the networking again for this virtual machine, you can go to the network. You can select connected devices, and then you can see, guys, 0.10 is for subnet 1 and 1.4, which is your VM-1. IP 1.4 is assigned from the subnet 2. So this is how you can check that what and all IPs are assigned to your virtual machines. All right. Now let me minimize. Let's go back to the server and let's make a web server. So in order to make a web server, hopefully you are aware of, in case of Windows Server, we have to install IIS feature, Internet Information Services. Let's go next, next, next. And you need to select web server option. So select check on web server and then go next, 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 restart if needed, and then install. Meanwhile, it is getting installed. Let's download a free template for the website. Okay. Obviously, I'm not a coder, guys, who can design a or who can write the code to make an application. Okay. So I'm going to download it from the internet. Start browsing. Okay. So we can type here free website download CSS Corp. Yeah. So from here, we can download a free template. Okay. Okay, it is not accessible. Okay, let me get it from somewhere else. Yeah, from here we can get it. So guys, whenever we are going to work with the load balancer, right? Obviously, behind the load balancer, you are going to add your virtual machine, your web servers. So that is why I am doing this lab here, so that once we will start our load balancer topic, you will be able to understand that how to host a website on a server. But the document name you requested could not be found on the server. However, we have found documents, request available documents. Why? Download free, yes. Let me get it from somewhere else then. I think there was something wrong with this website. Anyways, for example, I'm going with this template, technology template. Let's take it. Hopefully we will be able to download it. Yeah, okay. No, it is nice page something. No, we don't need it. I need something else. Why this CSS Corp is not working? Free CSS. website template. Something wrong with this website itself. Chalo, anyways, uh, what we can do, we can go with the default page. Guys, try to access this public IP on your laptop. I'm giving you the public IP. Try to access on your browser. You will be able to see IIS page, the blue IIS page, once you will access it. See, Internet Information Services. Now, what does it mean? That IIS service is running fine on the Windows server. Don't worry, today we are not able to get the template. In the next class session, I will get the template. It is in my different laptop. So I can get it from there. And then we'll show you how you can host your website. But this is a default page. You can make your own changes also inside this page, where just go to the server. You can go to the default path. Go to C drive. Go to inet pub. This is the default path, guys. Inet pub www root. And this page you are able to see on your screen. It is defined here. Okay, but let me make a change so that you will be able to understand that yes, how this service is running. So let me just make a change. Huh. Let me write down here my first website, like this, just to show you that how you are able to see this page on your portal, on your screen. So I'm just going to save it, refresh your browser with the same public IP, and even let me show you with my laptop also. Let me just refresh it. See guys, my first website. Everyone will be able to see this on their screen. So this is how you can host a website on a server. Ultimately, whatever the website you are accessing on your laptops, facebook.com, Instagram, right? Every website is hosted on a server. It can be a Windows server or it can be a Linux machine. And once we will start our load balancing topic, load balancer topic, we are going to configure the website on both Windows as well as in Linux machine, so that you will get the idea that how you can host a website on both the operating systems. For now, this is just a small lab. And in next lab, I will get the real-time website template, and then we are going to host it on our web server. I don't know why this website is not working today. Let me try doing it through my laptop. Might be it will work. Ah, huh. No, guys, there's something wrong with the website itself. Okay, it is showing the same thing on my laptop as well. Don't worry. Once it will be restored, or as I mentioned, that I have some website template which is available in my different laptop. So I will show you in real time how you can host a website on the server and how it is going to work for your customers, for your end customers. Any doubt, any question till now? Correct, Lokesh. You will be able to see this thing. Okay. Yes. This is what you will be able to see, which makes sure that yes, our web server is running fine, our web service is running fine without any issue. Okay, this is just a default page which we have configured. But don't worry, in the next class, I will get the real-time website and we will host it in our web server. Am I clear to everyone? Any doubt, any question for me? All right, guys. So this is just a demo session. We talked about all the topics that we are going to cover. As I mentioned, we are going to strictly follow the syllabus of Microsoft, right? And second, we did a small lab for the virtual network. And third, we did a small lab for a web server also, so that it will help us out when we are going to do our topic of load balancer or application gateway. So this is it for today. Let's wrap up the session. Thanks for joining it, and looking forward to see you in the next class, so that we can start our topics and we are going to discuss it thoroughly. All right, Lokesh, team will let you know, the backend team will let you know. Just I would recommend everyone to just enroll in this course, so that we can start our regular classes, and then you guys can follow the regular schedule, and the recordings and all you will be getting on your portal itself, on your the backend team will share it everything with you. And as I mentioned, the documentation you are going to get, the study material you are going to get from my side, interview questions you will get, and the dumps I'm going to provide you, and the resumes, how to create a resume, that also I will provide you from my side. This is it. Thanks everyone. I'll see you in the next session. Bye bye. Take care.